Hello, hello, beautiful people. Oh, everyone's joining. Let me pull this up on my phone.
Hi, Holly.
Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Tam. Hey, Marlene. Hey, Amanda. Adele, Elizabeth, Nicole. Hello, hello. I'm just pulling up this thing for today. Yes, busy night today, Marlene. But that's okay. You guys get spoiled because we always get through pretty much all the questions, really. But at some point, my plan is there are so many people in this call, we never answer all the questions, and new people always go first. But all the questions are pretty much old people. Today, busy nights are good. Busy nights mean everyone is tuned into their parenting and wanting to improve and got some questions and all that. There's a good variety of questions today, so this will be good. Kim's still joining. I don't know what's happening with her thing. Oh, here it comes. Here comes Libby. All right, let's start. Oh, here comes Sarah. Every time I say let's start, every week, like 3 more people go to her. All right. Okay. So now, Nicole, oh, yep, that's right. You asked me a different question. With Charlotte, I mean, just love that about her anyway. That's really easy. Like, how to not get frustrated. Just say to her, I love how you always want more from life. And it's always okay to ask life for more. It's not okay to ask me for more today. What I want you to do, Charlotte, today is I want you to say thank you for what I've said you can have. And it would really mean a lot to me if you can leave it at that. But at the end of the day, just say no. Just answer, no, thanks for asking. It's okay to want more, but no. Thanks for asking, but no. And then when she leaves it, just go, and thanks for respecting my answer. And yeah. But don't the child that wants more from the parent becomes the adult that wants more from life. So sucks to have to parent them, and it feels like nagging to us, but it's not. And it's got nothing to do with her. She's like, why wouldn't I ask? It felt fine to ask. You said yes. May as well ask for more. I mean, it's kind of clever, right? If we didn't have that drummed out of us, we'd all ask for more from life too. So that's how easy that is. Just say no. You're welcome to ask. The answer is no. And what you can do is when she goes, can I have this? Can I have this? You say, Charlotte, I'm going to answer this once tonight. The only thing you're allowed to have is ice cream. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no add-ons. That's the answer for tonight. That doesn't mean you can't ask for more next time. And I'll decide what that answer is. Cool. Keep it real simple. Now, with Ella J, obviously, yep, you're at a bit of a, I'll unmute your line. You're at a bit of a, everything's coming to a head with her, and they're asking her to leave and do something else. They're sick of chasing her around. Listen, I want you to not feel like you have to make a rash decision on this, and I want you to open to that concept because part of this, I mean, there might be some truth in this, right? And if she is so disengaged that she eventually loses herself because she's got no respect for the system and it literally has no interest, and it's not going to actually improve her life anyway. I mean, there is a catch-20. There is a bit of a catch here because it would be good for her to at least finish year 10 or year 11 or whatever, right? And so these are things that you need to weigh up and balance out, and you need to really pay attention to what price you're paying to stay committed to that idea in terms of, okay, just finish year 10 or just finish year 11. Okay, that might be doable, but at what expense? Like because Ella J, her life in path, if it has nothing to do with school, then it can be a waste of time. And the sooner she gets herself involved in something that she's truly interested in or passionate about, or she goes and does some makeup or just anything that's just she's got a slight interest in, like we talked about at Purpose Retreat on the weekend about passions, and are just starting in a place where, where you feel energized and expanded, right? And if she isn't reminded that life can feel like that, And the only thing she's getting is that life feels like this, like I hate everything I have to do and I hate school and I hate everything. They end up forgetting what passion even feels like. And that's why they get to 17 and they're like, I don't know what they don't even search for passions anymore. They don't even care what they are even interested in. They couldn't even tell you. It's literally gone. And you know the feeling,
It's
right?
gone. It's
It's
already
like,
gone. We've already met that phase, and that's what the problem is, because I've actually offered her all of those
have
options,
you?
and
Okay.
she does not. I said I would homeschool her, and actually she didn't have to do anything other than go and do like a lashes course
Yep.
or a nail course or something else.
Yep.
And she won't take that option. She won't take
Okay.
the alternative school. All she is willing to do is be at this school, but she's not actually attending. She'll
Yep.
go to school. She's on grounds all
Yep.
day, but she's not attending classes.
Okay. So then you need to tell her sometimes, like the thing is, LJ, you are making the choice. Okay. So you're at a point now where if you choose this, by default, you're choosing that. By not choosing to go to class, you are choosing to be homeschooled. You don't get both options. Like we said on the weekend, you don't get to choose to lose weight and eat pies. You either lose weight or you eat pies. One is like a default decision made on your behalf based on the other one you choose to make, right? And anything you're not changing, you're automatically choosing. Even the decision not to decide is still a decision, right? And so you tell her, here's the deal, LJ. The only choice you get to make is whether or not you go to school, or what you turn up to class, sorry. And based on the choice that you make, the choices that follow are natural consequences of the choice you make. If you choose, you're at a point now where the school is saying we don't want her to be here. And you know, respectfully enough, that's fair enough, right? They're chasing you around the school. So you now are at a point where you honestly get to choose where life goes for you from here. Because either you show up to class or you choose not to. And in choosing not to, what you're actually choosing is to not go to school, to be homeschooled. And then if that becomes the choice, the only option will be I homeschool you, or we find a course and you do it. And even if it's not something you love, what we're going to do is learn about the paths of life. We'll start something and see how it goes, you know, like, you know, try to do something, or even something you just remotely, like there will need to be something that you choose to do, because in the midst of doing that, if you work out that you don't like it, at least you know what you don't like. And everything you don't like leads you closer and closer to something you do like, because it's saying this is not the path, this is not the path. And for the rest of your life, we're going to, for as long as you're at home, we're going to keep finding paths. We're never going to give up looking for paths. There is no such thing as life not giving us options. Options are always available. And the only thing we'll do in this family is look for new options. Okay. So understand that by choosing this, by default, this is what you're choosing. If this is not what you want, if you don't want to choose to be homeschooled, then by default, the choice is you show up to class. That's where we're at the moment. And leave it at that. Like, let her just sit with that and you know, mull over that. And you still don't need to check up on her necessarily. Like we talked about on the weekend, you don't have to check her day map or anything. Like, tell her this is the deal, okay? And tell her I'm not going to look over you. I'm not checking your day map. This is not about me or whether or not I trust you. That's not even in question. This is about you making choices for the direction of your life. And the choice that you make also aligns with the consequence of that choice, whichever way it is. So you make your choice. But if at any point I hear from the school again and they say she still hasn't, I'm going to reply, let them know. At this stage, Ella J is choosing to come to school, with the knowing that if she chooses to come to school, she also chooses to come to class. I ask that you give her, you know, another 2 weeks to prove that that's the choice she's making. I have made her very aware that by choosing not to show up to class, she is choosing to leave school. And we've had that discussion. That's where it's at. So, you know, ask them to support you in that, and then tell her it's your call, babe. From here, this is your life. This is the first step in your life of you realizing you want to run your own life. Here's the moment. This is where you choose how you run your life, okay? You make your own choice. If you're not in class, I'll hear from the school. I'm not checking up on you. You don't need me checking up on you.
The first day I didn't look and I got a phone call.
Yeah, come on, go. And don't. Just at the end of the day, you got nothing to lose now. She's not showing up to class anyway, so fuck it. Just if you get the email, you're not going to be surprised. If you get the phone call, you're not going to be surprised. Ask them for a week. Tell her you've got a week. You've got a week to show us what your choices are. and for them to allow you to stay if they agree to that or whatever. And
They
then
can't kick her out.
okay.
At all. But
Okay.
they
But they're
have
asking and encouraging to
they've
remove it.
asked me to organise her work experience
Okay.
instead. And for her to do as many different work experiences as possible in 2-week blocks.
Great. That's good.
Yeah,
Tell her, Ella J, you are making a choice by choosing not to go to class. This is what you're choosing. You're choosing work experience. Like one is a default and the other is a choice. You choose to go to class, you don't do work experience. You choose not to go to class, cool. By default, you're choosing work experience. Those are your options. And be strong, like be firm as here. You get to make your choice, but based on the choice you make, I will stand firm in my position on that. Okay? And don't check up on her. Wait to hear from the school. Or if you do sneak a look, don't even let her know. Don't go to her with a preempted conversation because you know it's coming because you check day map or whatever. Right. And so wait for it to come. And then that's the deal. And then when it happens, that's the deal. Like you do with, like you do with a 2-year-old, like you do with a 7-year-old, when you're like, hey, this is the deal. That's it. And now I need to prove to you that you can trust me and I need to keep my fucking word, even though I kind of wish I didn't say what the consequence would be. Now I can't even, give you what you want because I have to build trust with you. I have to show you that you can rely on my word. This is the same principle that you do with a 2-year-old who wants an ice cream or a 7-year-old that, oh, hello, little Jessie boy.
Yeah.
All right. And just be strong in that boundary. This is the deal. You're teaching her about life. And we had that good chat about her on the weekend, in the 6 years of her life or whatever that analogy was we used. So what a timely conversation.
It was. That's why I was like, so proud of myself. I didn't check all.
So
and then on the way home in the car, I got a phone call.
Yep, I get it. And I think you'll be fine with that, babe. I'm not even worried about you at all or whatever. That's the deal. Just start teaching her that you choose your consequences by the choices you make, and by choosing this is the default. This is what you're choosing by default. So that's the deal.
And I'm working on my mindset because mine is, if I put in this strong boundary, she will resist, and I worry about those. I'm going to put that in place.
We'll handle those when we get to them. She's the one in power. You're not robbing her of her power. The deal is, Ella J, my role as your parent is to teach you, is to prepare you for life, okay? And right now you've got options. 3 years from now, you don't have options. Like, you need to find a career for yourself or earn money or whatever. You don't get to choose school or job or, business or whatever. Like, the deal is there is no more school in 3 years, and this is the only option. Right now, you've got a choice. It's either school or it's work experience. And you will show me what choice it is you're making by whether or not you show up to class. Okay? It's not open for discussion. It's either class or it's work experience. That is all. There is nothing else.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Okay.
I'm on it.
And then so when she doesn't choose it, you're not the one doing it to her. And then you tell her, like you tell the 7-year-old, I didn't put you in your room. Mummy didn't put you there. You chose to go to your bedroom when you chose to throw the car at your brother. It's like, this was a choice you made. It's the exact same scenario. Like, I didn't choose for you to do work experience. You chose work experience when you chose not to show up to class.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then we'll cross that battle when we get there.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see how she goes. Yeah. Keep me posted. Okay?
Yeah. Thanks.
No worries. My voice is still a little bit lost. It was getting better today, and then I've done some coaching calls this afternoon. And it's gone. So my vocal cords definitely got a workout on the weekend. All right. This is how the enemy likes to attack me. So, Miss Marlin, hello. I love your question tonight.
Hello, how are you going?
I'm very pleased to be answering this question after such
really?
a magnificent weekend and watching you expand. Yes.
Yeah,
100%.
I just thought, I just had one of those moments as to how much time I spend on those extra minutes, and it's doing my head in.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yep. So the short answer is you stop doing it, and the
Of
way
course,
to
yeah.
do it
Yeah.
is to, and I think you've already made that decision, right?
Yeah.
It gets you nowhere anyway. What I want to put in your head is every time that you've given a boundary and then they push it and stretch it, what you teach them is to stretch their boundaries. So one day when their boyfriend or girlfriend or partner or whoever goes to touch them and they say, no, I don't want to do that yet. And then they get pushed. Come on, let me just do a little bit. I won't do any more. That's where this lived example is going to come out in full force files in their life. So you put that thought in your head in one of these.
Good one.
A lot easier if this was, because the files that they are storing are the example that they are living. Okay. And you think it's an extra minute and an extra 2 minutes and an extra little bit of this, and it's really no big deal. Okay. But principles are transferable, and we take the principles and we apply them everywhere. And if they don't know what a no looks like and what it feels like, if they can't embody a no, then they won't respect someone else's no, and they might violate other people. And they're also not going to know how to energetically convey their no, and they will be violated and pushed against their will. Okay.
Yeah.
So put in your head that, if you need to think the worst thought, that could come down to a moment of basically rape almost. Like, like, oh, I didn't really rape. I didn't say no. I just let them keep going, kind of a thing. Okay. So put something big in your head that you're like, fuck. If this moment is what determines what my daughter or my son does in that moment, then fuck, I'm showing up here. Okay. Now, secondly, how I want you to explain it to them, and given their autism and all that kind of stuff, tell them, hey guys, tell them about the weekend, tell them, share some of your experience and your vision and all this stuff, and talk to them on a principle level about all the things you're working on in yourself, and one thing that you really want help with them on, because I don't feel like I'm being a good enough example. I'm not being the example to my children that I want to be, and it's around my boundaries. When I say no, particularly on little things, I feel like I'm pretty good on a big boundary, but on small boundaries, I let myself get pushed. And I've realized it's not just with you guys. I do this everywhere in my life. There's lots of areas, where I do something like this. And I'm going to ask you guys for your help, that next time I say no, and then you guys, ask me, Mum, can we have 2 minutes? And I go, oh yeah, can you guys pull me up on that? Can you go, Mum, this is one of those moments? And what you'll do is, if you can get them on board when they're in a good mood, with helping coach you through that, then in one of these moments, you don't have to fake it, and you can show up so congruently, and you can say, do you know what, Tom? See, this is one of those moments I talked about. See, in my head right now, you've only asked me for an extra 2 minutes. And in my head, I'm like, 2 minutes really doesn't matter. But do you know what? This is that moment, because I'm so tempted to just say yes. But do you know what, Tom? I'm going to ask for your support on this, mate. I'm going to say it's actually really hard for me to say no, even though it's, because it's only 2 minutes. And I know it's kind of really no big deal, but this is where I need your support. And I feel like I do a lot to support you where you need help. And I'm asking you to help me by helping me enforce this and appreciating me for being strong on my boundary. The answer is no, mate. Not just because I don't want you to be on your iPad for another 2 minutes, but because I need to practice doing this in my life. And you can be that real with them, and it will just shift it from you won't let, from their brain thinking, you won't let me have what I want. And that, that means threat, that means pain, that means reptilian brain, that means, fight or flight or whatever, or fight. It'll change it to, like, I get to contribute here, and this isn't you saying no to me. This is me, you saying yes to yourself, and talk to them about that. There's me saying no to you, and then there's me saying yes to myself, and those are two different things. Even though it can appear that, in order for me to say yes to myself, I have to say no to you, but the intention behind it is all about me saying yes to myself, and you learning what a no looks like, what a no feels like, and me knowing that I've been a good enough mum by being an example, a strong example of that in your life.
Yeah. And just on the, so, when I'm inside, that's good. So sometimes when we're at night, we say 7 o'clock's inside time.
Oh yeah.
And they're on the trampoline or whatever, and I'll put the timer there at 7 o'clock, and then they just run off.
Okay.
Just, we're on a big property. They're like, nah, stuff it, Mum, I'm not coming. So
you need to link that to what it really is, which is literally disrespect and dishonor. Say, guys, you're not even in trouble. Ultimately, I can't control you. And I don't want to feel like I have to control my children. What I want is I want to put effort into knowing my children, loving my children, understanding my children, in the hope that my children return that to me and that they try to understand me and respect me like I try to respect them. And so when you guys choose to hear that alarm, and I try to do everything I possibly can to set it up so that you guys can be responsible and take personal responsibility. And I trust you in that moment that when this goes off, that you will respect me enough and you will honor the boundary that I'm giving you. And when you choose to run away, it's not about you going against what I said and you're going to be in trouble. It's actually about that I feel really disrespected and like I just don't matter. Like it doesn't matter how much I try to give to you, how much I'm willing to trust you guys over and over again, even though I've got lots of examples of that I could make my brain think of for reasons not to trust you. I still choose to see you as good people. I love you and I trust you again and again. And I'm asking you for some respect here, because what you're doing is literally dishonoring me. And it's not about being angry and telling you off. It's actually about hurting my heart, because I'm like, gosh, if my own children won't respect me, why would the world respect me? This is one of those things I'm practicing in my life, and it starts at home. I need to work out, who do I need to become for my children to love me enough to honor and respect me? Tie it back to love. And they'll go, no, Mum, but we do love you, Mum. But, well, guys, you know what? I'm not saying you don't, but I am saying sometimes it doesn't feel like that. So because love and respect and integrity are all part, of love. And when you violate those values, it certainly feels like, I'm not saying that I don't matter, but it certainly feels like I don't matter.
Yeah, that's really good. Thank you.
Okay, so bring it all back to, emotional connection, particularly with ASD. Your only chance is energetic connection, and you've got to be congruent. You've got to ultimately. You can't fucking make them. They've got a whole paddock to run away from, they don't even have a backyard, So there's no point losing your energy, but at the same time, you don't want to let it slide all the time. And then they get away with it.
No, the other day I did what you said to me a few weeks ago, that if they're choosing to run away, then, I'm not going to do story time when they come in. Then they'll just have to tuck themselves in and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. How did that go? Did they respond?
They ran away anyway, but when they came in, they just chose not to come in.
Okay.
But I just completely
No,
I just completely disconnected.
Good,
like,
good.
Doing my own thing. Yeah.
Yep. And that's what you say. Do you know what, guys? What I'm going to do in my life is, this is my principle, right? I say dishonor disqualifies. So I can't control you. And what I'm going to do in my life, no matter who it is, my husband, my children, my best friends, my clients, anyone who dishonors me disqualifies themselves from my connection, because I actually think I'm a pretty amazing person, and I think the connection I can offer people is pretty special. And I'm not going to make different rules for different people in my life anymore, because this is something I need to practice in who I am and how I show up. So anytime you choose to dishonor me and I feel dishonored, I can't control you, but I can control me. And anytime you dishonor me, you disqualify yourself from access to my attention. So use it as an opportunity to embed that. And so when you say, like, I just disconnect, tell them why. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to use my energy connecting with people that dishonor me, because if I do it for you, the thing is, my brain, in the back of my brain, it doesn't know and it doesn't care whether you're my children or not. It doesn't. All it knows is when people dishonor me, I act the same, and that's why I'm not learning lessons. So my brain doesn't care whether you're a son or a daughter or whatever. It just knows, no matter how people treat me, I always just do my best for them. Do you know what? No, none of that anymore for anyone in my life.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. That gives me lots to work with.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome.
And it's also you giving them huge life lessons on, like, you're letting them see you in a life lesson yourself. And this then becomes the fabric that they weave their lives with.
Yeah, no, that has to definitely be addressed.
Yep. And it all comes back to that. Okay. Good way to open up so many different things there. And then you'll be able to use it as examples in the future when one of them, Ruby has a friendship issue or something happens along the way with someone. You go, hey, do you remember the conversation we had about dishonor disqualifying? And have you noticed the choices I've been making lately? You'll be able to reflect back to it and go, well,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but it seems to me like you're feeling pretty dishonored by this friend. So what choice are you making around people who dishonor you? And then automatically they're going to have the file for, they're disqualified. Disqualified from what? From playing with me tomorrow, from whatever, coming to my birthday party, freaking whatever. Cool. These are boundaries. Boundaries aren't things that you profess. They're things that you practice. You don't say, if you talk to me like that, I'm going to hang up on you. What you do is when somebody talks to you like that, you fucking hang up. That's a boundary.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I struggle with that.
Yeah, you don't announce the boundary. You live the boundary.
It's
That's
almost like my brain goes a little bit into fight or flight about what's coming, and then I'm sort of like, well, how can I make it easy so no one, and I'm just sick of it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
How you do anything is how you do everything, babe. Your kids are there as messengers and as teachers in your life, so fucking use them as people to practice on, because life uses them to practice on you. So use them back to practice, what you need to do.
Yeah,
Okay?
awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. What are you guys all saying over here in the comments? So truly, when I'm not strong in this, the kids sniff it out a mile away. It's so true. They do. They're like little hound dogs. All right, Sarah, where are you? I saw you on here. Did you go off? Oh, no, there you are. Hello, darling. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. All right, Anthony and adults. It's a really good thing. I love that the teacher noticed this and brought it to you. What a conscious teacher who has identified that and who wants to work on helping him learn that he can trust them.
Yeah.
The only way to build trust is evidence, right? He needs to collect evidence that adults are safe. And so for Anthony, that probably means it probably goes a lot. I mean, number one, it's just keeping your word. And number two, it probably goes a long way in terms of like not being told off or not. Basically, if you are the source of my shame, even if I had a behavior that probably warrants you telling me off or you sending me out of the classroom or whatever, in the moment where he experiences shame or, some pretty big humiliation or whatever, in that moment, his brain will delete what he did to create this moment, if that makes sense, right? It's like they are not even associated. All it is the blame and the pain and the shame that I feel is coming from you. And the reason he doesn't trust adults is because the only people in his life that have given him these feelings over and over and over again, he's probably got a filing from the last fucking school, are adults. They're the only people with the power to intimidate him and shame him enough in front of his peers and things like that have created the experiences that have made him shrink. And if there's 150 files supporting that, I mean, this is how the mind works. You know what? Do this with Anthony. You can even show him. He might even love this. You do it with coffee. So you get 1 cup of coffee and 1 cup of clear water, right? And you say the clear water is our clear, fresh mind. This is our pure mind. Our mind and our soul naturally believes in itself. This is how pure we are in our thoughts. We love, we forgive, all of those things. And what happens is with bad experiences or with bad thoughts or, bad feelings that happen to us, it's like a little bit of coffee, a little negative thought goes into the water, and it could be the tiniest bit. And look how much it changes the color of the water. And then another little bit, and then another little bit, and another little bit. And then before long, when you've got all these negative experiences, look how black the water is. Now, watch this. Now you go get like a 2-liter jug of water and you go, now let's clean out this brain, because this brain now has all these bad thoughts and bad beliefs and bad feelings, and it doesn't trust and it doesn't feel safe. And that's why it's black and murky. It's not pure anymore. It's always looking for how it can protect itself and how it can get back at people. Right? It's got negativity. So now let's see how much water it takes to wash out the blackness. right? And you do a little bit, still pretty much don't it. Now you think something positive or someone does something nice, but because it's only one thing, doesn't even change the water. The water's there, and again, and it's still black, and you literally overflow this cup. You do it on the sink. This cup is like 200 mils, and you got like a 3-liter jug, and you keep pouring that water, and it's still fucking murky. This is how much positive stuff it takes to wash out one negative thing. This is how our brains work for all of us. That's why it's so hard to change our programming. Because
how long will it take him to get out of this? Like if I do the work with him, is it likely that he'll eventually
100% he will, but he needs more. If he's got 150 files of adults shaming him, he's going to need 500 files of better experiences. So his teacher and you guys have to be. So now it doesn't mean he can't be in trouble. It means he can't be shamed. It means it can't be done in front of the class. He can't be demeaned. Like you literally cannot risk that. That's going to send you 15 steps backwards, even just the tiniest slip up, right?
That explains, I think, why sometimes when he gets in trouble, he'll run.
Yeah.
And then they've lost him, and so there's issues with that at the moment. And then that's why she asked. She said he sometimes he can't face us, but we just want to talk. We're not here to get him in trouble or anything like that. We just want to talk to him, and even then he'll run. Yeah. But I think that's why, because he just doesn't trust that they're gonna. He'll probably, they probably think. He probably thinks that they're going to send him to the office, which they did at the last school, but they don't do that. That's right.
They're going to send him to. So he probably needs that conversation. Hey, Anthony, you know what? I know at your last school you had some really. They need to be real with him. They need to say some things that they wouldn't normally say to build back trust. You know what? I heard your mum told me that you had some really nasty teachers, and you had some teachers that were not good teachers, and that school made some very bad choices. Your mum told me about how they used to send you to the office and they used to do this and that. And do you know what? At our school, we don't believe in that. We basically think that school's pretty stupid or whatever word they want to use. But if they're willing to use a word that he has in his head, it's a stupid school, then use his language. We actually think that schools that do that are actually really stupid, and we don't believe in that. So what we want you to know is that at this school, if ever you've made choices that we need to talk about, you're not going to be in trouble. We're not going to send you to the office. No one here is going to embarrass you. And it's going to be really hard and take a lot of courage for you to let yourself believe that until you give us a chance to prove it to you. So when we're walking around trying to find you, just know we just want to talk to you. At our school, we don't want to punish you. We want to know, because we know you're an amazing person. And if you made that choice, something must be going on for you. What's happening for you? We want to know how we can help you and support you. We're not the school that punishes you and that sends you away. And if ever there's something that is hard for you to deal with, we're going to make extra effort. We're not going to leave you by yourself. We're not going to call your mum and make sure that you get in trouble when you go home with your parents, because we're not the kind of school that makes those schools are stupid schools. If they're willing to say something like stupid, that he will be like, oh, this school said my last school was stupid. He'll fucking love that. He'll probably attach that girl to that, right? Yeah. And it'll probably be the best thing at getting on his side. Something like that. And they need to. So you know what? The thing that I need from you though, Anthony, if it's okay with you, what I need from you is I need so much courage from you, because I need you to give me a chance to prove to you that I'm not like those stupid teachers, and that I'm going to be so different than anything that your brain remembers from your last school. And at the moment, it's not your fault you're running away. Your brain just remembers what used to happen, and it doesn't know yet that we don't do that at this school. So in one of those moments where your brain wants to run away, I need you to use all your courage. Tell your guard dog, tell your brain, it's coming out of the kennel, it's barking, quick, run away, Anthony, run away, because you're going to be in trouble. Tell the guard dog, hey, go back in your kennel. It's fine. These are not stupid teachers. These teachers do it differently. They just want to talk to me. And then what's going to happen at this school is we sort out every problem. There's not going to be a single problem that we can't sort out together.
Is it worth me saying that to him first, but also like writing an email to the teacher and saying, I'm saying this. If you also say it to him, then we've got both.
Correct. Yeah? Yep. You can You can give her this recording if you really want, or something. If you can, like, screen record it or something, like this answer here. Don't give her the whole thing.
Oh, no.
But you're welcome to, like, if you need to, or
Yeah.
pull the audio off or whatever, so that she hears what I've just said. It'll help immensely. It needs to be safe for him to take a risk to trust again.
And I noticed, like, he doesn't give them a lot of eye contact when they're talking. Like, when I come and pick him up, he'll, like, look at the ground. Like, there's not much,
That's
like,
self-esteem. That's all. That'll take time. That will change. Give it time.
Then he'll get in the car and then he'll start smiling and talking about his day and everything.
Yeah, because that's distraction. That's just distortion and distraction. Yeah. And it is true, Libby. Miami, my daughter, her YouTube channel, she's got a video on this on her YouTube channel. So Anthony might really connect with a kid saying it.
Well, he has watched a few of Miami's videos, so that's probably worth getting up rather than me doing it. But I'll see if he wants to watch it. That'd be good.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. And Nicole just said, they might say silly instead of stupid. That might be a word. Yeah. I think, I forgot that there's a word silly. I just normally say the word fuck, so stupid sounds good. Yeah. But I get it. Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
He needs time. If you let him know what's happening to his brain with the coffee analogy, like something visual might help him understand. And there's going to need to be, and that's why he needs to also manage his thoughts and his feelings and be aware, because, one bad thought or one bad thing to another person, it affects it's like a little bit of coffee and a lot of water. A little bit of negativity can really change a very positive brain. And it takes a lot more positivity to wash out the negativity. Unfortunately, it's how our brains work.
Awesome.
It's easy to believe the negative stuff. We believe it easy, and it takes a whole lot to give ourselves the brainwashing. Yeah. Kids always like it. That's true, Nicole. Yep. It might help for him to be the helper. If they show him they can trust him, it will help. That's great.
Well, they thought of that. They said, what we're going to do is, because the teacher's on duty, he doesn't know them very well, like at recess and lunch, and he kind of runs away from them when they're talking to him. So throughout the day, they get him to deliver things to the other classes so that he gets to meet them.
Yeah,
and then they've already told those particular teachers so that they'll have a little bit of a conversation with him each time and build some, like, banter.
The other thing that can help is, instead of running away, because there's still going to be times where he's so instinctively driven by his reptilian brain that he's going to run away. So what you need to do is not make it a bad thing that he's running away. So just say, if ever you need to feel if you feel the need that you have to run away and there's no other option, run to here. So then it's like you're not doing something that we don't want you to do, you're doing what we want you to do. So even when you think you're running away, like, you run to the library or run to this green door or whatever the fuck they've got. If they've got at least 2 or 3 places so he still gets to choose in a moment where he might feel powerless. He can go, well, I'm not going to the library, but I'll go to here. So if ever you feel the need to run away, go to one of these 3 places. And if ever we can't find you, we'll know where you'll be. We know that you will be in one of those 3 places. And if the teacher on yard duty doesn't understand you or doesn't know you or whatever, they'll come and tell, us or the classroom teacher, and I'll always know where to find you. And I'll let the teachers know that if ever Anthony runs away and he needs to just get away so that he can get his guard dog to go back in the kennel, then he'll be in one of these 2, so that in the moment he also gets to make a choice. So maybe give him a place to run to.
And also he's safe that way too. He's not just running out everywhere. All right. It's really good. Thanks.
No worries, darling. Absolutely. Miami's YouTube channel is called Conscious Kids, Tam. She does a lot of dance and fun stuff on there as well. But if you go back to her earlier videos, she's got a lot of, like, mentoring type videos on there and teaching kids what to do and how to think when they don't have friends, or how to understand that life is giving us balance and it's not supposed to be happy all the time, and so many different things. And the kids listen to kids. So.
And she says it in her language, like kid language. It's the same as yours, but it's like her version.
She was 10 when she started that. So those early videos, she started it on her 10th birthday. So she was just turned 10. So, Yeah,
my kids love it. Imogen loves watching her.
Does she? Oh, that's so good. Yeah. Conscious Kids. Yep. You'll find it on YouTube. And if you can't find it, you can even go into our group and type in Conscious Kids, because I shared the link in there originally. But I think it's youtube.com/Conscious Kids. So you should be able to find it easy. By the way, hello there, Kim Dyer. I saw you there. Nice to see your name pop up, lady. All right. Who's next? Miss Elizabeth. Hello. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Let me see. Oh, hello. Nice to see your face here.
I'm unmuted. Hello, hello.
Hello. I wasn't expecting you to have your camera on or whatever, but here you
I
are.
know. I figured this one's a safe one, so I'm good.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, coming of age and first date. How cool. How do I play it cool but keep her safe? Almost 13, blah, 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 blah. I love answering these questions. How you keep her safe is by knowing that she'll keep herself safe. Honestly, honest to God. No advice that we give our children will ever keep them safe if they don't have self-esteem to follow their own and enough courage to follow their own intuition and what feels right for them. The only way we keep them safe is by being the safest place that they come to when they fuck up the worst. That's the safe place, right? We don't they are going to be driven by their bodies, by their hormones, all that. And all we want to put in their minds constantly, not just in regards to boys or girls and sexuality, but just in life, is always questions like, does that feel right to you? I'm not sure who you're talking like, but the person you're talking like right now doesn't really sound like the true you. Just lots of little comments all the time about, I mean, what do you feel intuitively? What feels right to you intuitively? I mean, you might have to do what you have to do anyway, but it's still good to know intuitively, what do you wish you could do right now? And the teacher or your dad or whoever, or, whoever, your grandma, they might say, bad luck, this is what we're doing. But always referring to it their intuition, and what feels right to them, and having the courage to go against the grain, having the courage to be the different one, having the courage to be so authentic, so strong in who you are, that you're okay to be different. When everyone else is vaping, you don't judge them. They can vape if that's their choice, no judgment, but also strong boundaries, and they will respect you for that, and they won't judge you for being the only one that doesn't vape or the only one that doesn't do this or whatever, because they just know you make your choices and you're different to us and you're fine with that. So constant messaging like that is how you keep them safe, because you can't be there in the moment. No matter what advice you've given them, we all know hormones are a whole lot stronger than fucking a parent's advice is ever going to be. So in the moment, no one's ever going to be using that anyway, right? And so all you need to do is trust that, like I always say, trust her with her own life. And the more you trust her with her own life, and you say, you know what? So I'll give you an example. What you say to her, let's say she's going on a first date. You say, do you know what's her name again, Elizabeth? Izzy. So you say, Izzy, do you know something I love about this moment right now? Most parents right now, knowing that their daughter is going out on a little date, most parents would worry. Most parents are like, oh, what's she going to do? And, is she going to know how to keep herself safe? And they'd be starting to give their child a lecture. And do you know what I love? I love the fact that I know I don't need to do any of that. I'm not worried at all, because I know you're an amazing person. You make the choices that are right for you. I already know you'll make safe choices. So I love the fact that we're in this moment, a moment where most other parents would be freaking out, and I'm not freaking out at all. You go and have a good time, darling girl, and I look forward to hearing about it. And that is all. You trust her with her own life, and the more you trust her with her own life, the more she'll take ownership of that, and she'll be trustworthy with her own life. And that's how you tell her, by not telling her. Most other parents would have a lecture and they'd be saying, oh, make sure you keep her safe. All the things you wish you could say, you say it without saying it. I love the fact that I don't need to say any of that. I don't feel the need to tell you about being safe or being careful, or you've just said it, right? But you tell her, I love the fact that I don't even feel the need to say that. And when she knows you're not worried, she knows it's because you trust her, and then she lives up to what you believe about her. That's how you keep her safe.
Yeah, thank you. It feels like it's just this gateway, and on the other side of it is kind of all of that, and it kind of caught me by surprise that, at 12, nearly 13, she's got so much feels and so much, all the giddiness, all the hormones
and then she
That's
has some
beautiful.
clothes gifted to her, and all of a sudden she's got boobs growing, and she's got, you know, midriff showing. I'm like, oh my God, like, it's me that's got into freak
You're like,
out.
I'm deep in my personal growth right now. You know, the thing is, it's like, listen, I said this to like Nicole a year ago or something, when Ella J was 13, and, you know, Amani's is a similar age. She's obviously 15 now, Baya's 13, but yeah. But listen, the worst thing in our minds that happens is they have sex. This is the worst thing that can happen, is, you know, they have sex in, based on our opinion, early or too early, or whatever judgment we want to place on that. Okay. Now, ultimately, here's the thing. We know as women, in our womanhood, in our feminine essence, that the reason we struggle as women in our generation is because our sexuality, our sensuality, our deepest, most natural sense of self was shut down at the age where where life tells us you're ready to experience these feelings, these things, right? Society says don't follow your body, right? But here's the thing. Age doesn't matter. Like I remember saying to my girls, I would rather you freaking have sex at an early age with somebody you feel safe, you feel comfortable, you feel nervous but excited, that you truly want to share your body, your sensuality, your pleasure with. That is better to me than you know, like being 18 and fucking someone at a one-night stand at a party. Like it's the experience. It's not an age, right?
Yeah,
because
that's
if you have
true.
respect
I
for
am getting hung
yourself.
up on the age.
Yeah, it really is. And it is kind of scary in that regard, because yeah, these days a lot of girls are having sex at like 13, 14. They're everywhere. That's the deal.
Well, she's very like mentally emotional. She's an immature 12 anyway.
Sure.
And this little sweet lad that she's going out with, they're both on the spectrum. So it's very kind of sweet and innocent at this stage.
Beautiful.
But I'm totally freaking out because all of a sudden she's talking about, you know, wearing clip-on earrings and having her nails painted. And I'm like,
it's beautiful.
so I've done the coaching of the whole kind of like, well, is that you? And you said clip-on earrings hurt you to wear them. So like, are you sure you want to do that? Like, are you doing that to try and be someone you're not?
She's playing with her femininity. She's playing.
So she's
it's like they're all tantric principles. Like, I want to look beautiful. I want to feel beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, this is her sensuality. And if we don't shut down their sensuality, if we embrace their sensuality, they respect their own sexuality. Where they go wild in sexuality is when we shut them down, when all they were wanting to experience was sensuality, but we got our stupid adult brains in there and made up a story about what it is and what it shouldn't be. And if I let this go, you know, give them an inch, they'll take a mile, and we get our heads in the way. And that's why it's like, you know, like I mean, I tell you something, our primal nature, like, you know, sex has been running this universe for millions of years. It is older than all of us. Sex was here long before any of us.
Chicken in the egg.
Right. And so nothing, I don't care what beliefs you've got. I don't care what religion you've grown up in. I don't care. Like, at the end of the day, nothing is going to be more powerful than millions of years of sex in our species. Okay. So it's just the deal. And it's a moment for you to, you know, embrace, and it's all growth for you. It's you learning to be comfortable with this, and she will be comfortable and she will feel normal, because if she feels like you're trying to limit her experience here, it sends a message of, oh, is this not what I should do? Is this something to be ashamed about? Am I a slut? Whatever, you know, whatever comes into their minds, and that energy that we give off. So let her love her sensuality so that she doesn't have to come to women's circles 20 years from now to find that part of herself again, because she's in a loveless, sexless, intimacy-less marriage with a very unhappy partner, and she's not happy with her body, and she can't experience joy and pleasure, not just physically, but anywhere in her life. So we set them up now to be able to receive joy and pleasure and a beautiful relationship with their own life experience forever. So
awesome. Yeah, good
as much as you can. Trust her with her own life. The worst thing she does is have sex at an age that's earlier than you know, your you're like
That's what I got hung
age,
up on. I've got an expectation and I've got like a little plan in my head, that this
right.
kind of shit comes at 16, 17.
Yeah,
I'm thinking,
yeah,
hang
exactly.
on,
My daughter's not.
I was
But honestly,
15.
I'm not
So,
going to ask you all, but seriously, we all like, oh yeah, you can have sex after 16. Fucking how many of you had sex before 16? What the hell? In an age that was nothing like what today's age is with everything
this
social
is
media and
true.
everything. Like, I mean, sex is
Yeah,
without
that's
that,
true.
their brain is so safe with all the sex messages because it's so familiar with it all, right? Everyone says, oh yeah, after 16, it's okay to have sex. I'm like, fucking show me one fucking generation that did that. Nowhere. Everyone wants to or starts playing around, somewhere between 14 and 15, we start playing around and, and we get this number in our head and I want to wait until this time and I want to wait. And then what happens is then you end up loving someone or being in a moment and you have sex before the date that you told yourself you're going to wait till. And now you feel ashamed. And now, you literally feel like a slut to yourself, but you weren't a slut. You were safe. You were comfortable. He respected you. You respected him. You talked about it. You'd been together 6 months, 12 months, whatever. Like, there's nothing slutty about that whole experience. If I take that same experience and put it on a 20-year-old, you think it's normal. But we take the experience and put it on a 15-year-old and we say, slut. What's the difference? The age. The age is just our own little, we get too stuck on how we're going to be judged about something. And it literally puts us in a position where we create the shame for them. And our mothers created the shame for us.
Yeah, that's totally true. And another one of those kind of like, the legal control, like who the hell came up with the age of 16 anyway? Because we all know puberty is, sexual maturity, what the human body is naturally designed to do. That's why these hormones are firing. So,
exactly.
Mum's just going to have another Malibu and chill the F out on date day.
And love her. Tell her you're excited for her. Tell her
I am. And I have
tell her
been,
she
but
smells
it's this kind of,
tell her
I got this picture that she was trying to be something that she's not. Like, and I was thinking, oh my God, she's doing the whole looking at Kardashians and magazines and trying to be something that she's not. But I never looked at it as though she's exploring, femininity
she's
and
finding
sexuality,
who she is.
feeling
it's the exact
special.
opposite.
Yeah, that's a beautiful perspective.
Yep. Instead of trying to be someone she's not, she's actually trying to find who she is in this space.
Yeah.
She's
and
just
that's
coming to
exciting.
it. Like, it's beautiful.
Thank you, Holly Child Whisperer.
It's literally, it's just sex. Like, and by the way, she's not going out to have sex right now. But like the biggest thing that we try to stop is this idea of sex. But look at us, like everyone's got so much fucking sexual trauma. It's why I talk about it so much, particularly in the retreats and things like that. Because when you shut down to your sexuality, like your sexual energy is your life force energy. Like it is literally, like, it's your prana energy. Like, it is the source of life. And when you shut that down, you shut down to life.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I love talking about that. Okay.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent question. It's okay to love. All right. Let me just see what everyone's saying here. Hang on. Let me just have a quick look. Isabel, she got there. Cool. Izzy is the bad. Jay has been helping everyone. Oh, yeah, cool. Good on you. That's good. Jay's teaching them how to respect their body. That's awesome, Nicole. I only found my sensuality at Remember Her, which was like 2 months ago, This is the thing. Izzy finds it now. How beautiful. That's so good, Marlon. Thanks for that. Was on the beach too, Tam said. Were you talking about when you had sex the first time? You're like, yeah, well, I was on the beach too. Is that what you're saying? That's an experience to remember. How do you explain to your kids it's okay to love their father, although he's toxic? My boys are confused because they know what he does is wrong. That's I'll get to you in a sec, Fallon, but this is a really hard one. This is a really hard one because just let me come back to you, okay? Hang on, I'll come back. 12, 13, yeah. Oh, fuck, don't tell me 12, Nicole. Let me just sit with 13, okay? When we exactly. Beautiful. Oh, recently on the news. Oh, is that what you're saying, Tam? I see. Yeah. Oh, yes. Hello, Miss Piper. Hello, darling. Mine was at the local swimming lake. Yeah, the best time. All right. Magda, I'm gonna come to you, babe. Where are you? Where are you on my screen? Oh, hello. I see you now.
Hello.
Hello, darling. So this is a really good question, right? Especially off the back of talking about belief systems and everything all weekend, right? And it is true because your child, and Miami used to say this a lot. So, but if I believe that, she would get then scared. But I'm scared, Mum, because now if I believe it, I'm going to attract it, right? And then I feel like it's scary. And then if I do, something bad's going to happen. And here's the thing. Remember when we did that video on the weekend at the retreat, and we talk about like the collective belief is always stronger than your personal belief. So like even if you believe in not aging, is what it showed on the epigenetics video, it's like because the collective believes in aging, we all age basically, right? So you talk to her about there's personal beliefs and there's collective beliefs, and so even though you might think there might be a bad man or a robber or something like that, you know, we know there's not. We know we're safe. I know it. Daddy knows it. And our belief is stronger. And so in this house, we attract the strongest belief, and our belief is the strongest. So our belief will override your belief. Okay.
Oh,
yeah. Now the thing is though, your belief will manifest for you in your experience, meaning if you believe there might be a robber that comes to our house, what will happen is your brain will make that real. Doesn't mean a robber will come, but like there'll be a raindrop on the roof and you'll be like, oh, I think someone's here, or there'll be a tree fall on the window and you'll hear a creak and you'll hear things, and your brain will turn all those thoughts into proof that what you believe is true. It's not actually happening, but in your experience and in your body in that moment, it's happening. You think there's someone at the window. You think there's someone at the door. Whereas when we hear those noises, we're like, oh, the tree just fell over. Oh, it's starting to rain outside, right? So in your moment, if you choose to believe it, you will make that experience real inside your body. Doesn't mean an actual person will actually come to the window, because our belief is protecting the house anyway, and we're stronger than you, which is why I taught this to the girls, right? I said, which is why you pay attention to where there's lots of crime. And we don't watch the news, of course, but if you watch the news, there's lots of crime in Salisbury. There's lots of crime in Hackham, or like, in certain areas, you can almost bet that 90% of the crime is in a couple of areas. You know why? Because there's collective thinking. There's collective vibration there. The people that live in those areas, they're called low socioeconomic areas, okay? And those people have different beliefs about life. They make pretty bad choices with their life. They can't really afford many things in their life, which is why they live in these very low places. And because there's so many of them with similar dark thoughts and dark beliefs and negativity, that's why a lot of crime happens in those areas. How often do you see crime in Norwood? How often do you see crime in Unley? You know why? Because there's a collective vibration there that even though those are some of the richest houses, if you're a robber and you want to go rob something good, guess where you should go? One of those areas. So why don't they get robbed all the time then? Because those people, frequency and vibrationally, they don't even get drawn. They don't even feel right to be there. They're scared when they're going into that house, but they're not scared when they're going into the house at Salisbury, because the vibration is like the same as them. And so that's why they pick those houses, even though those houses are poor people and they've got nothing to steal. And if they come over to Unley, they could steal lots of rich stuff if they really wanted to. But crime doesn't happen there. Crime happens a lot there because there's collective vibration, collective frequency. And so what that means is, even if we went to America, and this is what I used to tell my girls, because they heard that in America, they can carry guns in the supermarket. And I'm like, here's the thing, girls. The thing is, and like you just fill them with this belief. The thing is, like, you could be in a supermarket where the whole thing got shut down and you'd probably be the only person that doesn't get shot, because the universe protects us. Like that can't even enter our world. Like, it's like literally, if you understand, tell them about, metaphysics and quantum physics, it's nearly impossible, unless it's part of a karmic journey, but don't even worry about mentioning that to the kids. But it's nearly impossible. You could walk through the ghetto and they can, all of a sudden 2 gangs try and shoot each other. And it's almost like you could just about walk through the middle of the bullets and not get hit. Like that's the level that belief and, you know, the universe protects us, you know, vibration wise and whatever. And, you know, obviously you saw that on the weekend with that video with, you know, the person that quite often legitimately gets shot in some kind of, you know, shoot down or hostage hold up is the person that's experiencing the most fear in their life leading up to that moment, right? If you go into the stories of the victims, you know, it's always so interesting. There's a couple of documentaries on it where they go into the stories of victims and honestly, like houses that get broken into on a street, all the people and the victim, you know, like was in a state of fear, or like it's insane how it's like, of all the houses they picked, why did your house get picked? You know, there's a real if you can look it up, go look for some documentaries if you feel like you want to, just for your own, you know, knowing of what to say to the girls. But tell Ayla, that's basically how it works. You'll attract your own experience inside your own body, so your body will respond like it's actually happening. You hear the little branch fall outside and your body be like, oh, someone's there, and your body literally is actually experiencing it like that's the truth, because you bring, like, in your own experience, you're manifesting what you believe, which is why it's important that even though you live with us and our beliefs can override your beliefs and we can protect you and our house is safe because our belief's stronger than your belief, the thing is, it's still good for you to work on changing your mind, changing your thoughts, you know, really being careful about what you choose to think about, what you choose to believe. And then tell her when she says, but I can't stop thinking about it, you can't stop a thought, you can only replace a thought. So then that's where you use, do you remember the purple donkey?
Yes, I do remember the purple donkey.
Yeah, like the pattern interrupt. So anytime you catch yourself thinking something that you know you don't want to think, then what you do is you think of the purple donkey or whatever animal you've made up. You know, mine's a purple donkey with like yellow ears and a green tail and a red nose. And, you know, when it knows you're scared, it lifts up its tail and it does a fart. And then the fart scares the fear away. And so it's like it encompasses, you know, your ears and your eyes and your senses. And it's such a weird looking donkey that I can see a picture of in my mind, that while my mind is trying to wrap my head around this idea of purple donkey, it completely disconnects from the thought that it was stuck on before, because it can't have two thoughts at once, particularly one that it can't make sense of. So you teach her about some kind of purple donkey or some kind of pattern interrupt. So anytime you catch yourself thinking about it, go to the purple donkey or go to the whatever. She can call it the red frog. She can make up whatever she likes. Something weird and stupid that doesn't make sense to her brain. And you use that to disconnect from this thought. And then you choose what thought you want to think next. So you use the purple donkey as the one that takes you away from that thought, just for a split second, so that you can go, right, now I'm going to go see my mum. I'm going to go play with my sister. I'm going to go put me, like, I can think of another thought that I can do so that my brain can't go back to the thought of the robber. Yeah.
Okay.
So she has to have a thought that she goes to.
Yep. Yep. I'll revisit that. Thank you.
Yep. No worries. Do you have any questions around that?
No.
Makes sense? Do you think that will help Ayla?
Yep, that will, definitely, because she's been having a lot, she's been doing a lot of that recently. Like, they watched something on YouTube, and when we went to Tasmania as well, we went to the jail, and then she was worried that, you know, she was asking lots of questions, like, what about if that happens to us? And she's been, and then yesterday when we were just talking about the retreat, she asked what I did. Yeah. And I said to her, we just did, you know, we did a lot of belief work, and you know, what words we breathe life into. And then she just all of a sudden just said, so if I think this, Mum,
right, that's amazing.
Like, is this going to happen? And I was a little bit like, how about we focus on, you know, positivity? Whatever. How about we focus on being safe? That's what I said to her.
Yes, good, yeah.
As opposed to being scared. But then I was like, fuck, I don't know how to.
Yeah. You know, that's a really good point you make, though, that anytime you think of something that scares you, use the purple donkey or whatever to get away from it, and then purposely, because you get to control your thoughts, you get to choose what you think of a safe thing. Maybe you can say to her, close your eyes for a minute and go to a place where you feel so safe. Like, where are you? Maybe we're away camping and we're in the caravan and we're all snuggled up in our doonas and our jammies and we're having hot chocolates and we all just are having so much fun. Like, take her to a memory or a place where she genuinely can feel like her nervous system can integrate safety, and tell her, anytime you think a thought that starts to scare you, you can do this in your mind, and your mind will detach from fear and it will come back to safety. And then you will create a safe life, because that will be the level that you vibrate at.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep, so give her something she can think, not just get away from. But it is hard to override. And also you tell her positive thoughts are always more powerful. So a negative thought is a weak vibration. And the reason, if you think a positive thought, it'll always overpower a negative one, is because the positive thought is aligned with our heart and our soul. It's the essence of who we are. What we are is love. And anything that aligns with love and safety and worthiness and, connection and things like that, that's our truest essence. And that's where our vibrations are always the strongest. All of these fears, these are like tricks of the, if you talk God and devil, these are tricks of the devil, or, these are tricks of our ego. This is our mind. This is our soul. And our soul is always stronger than, our ego, which kind of is like the king of our mind kind of a thing. And our mind has a place. Our mind's very powerful, but the ego is like, the god of the mind. It runs the mind. And when the ego starts being a bit tricky, and, the ego wants to win all the time, and the ego wants to be better than the soul will always be the strongest, because it's truly who we are. So you can use these concepts here, whether I don't know, do you say they go to like a Catholic school? They talk in God and devil and things like that?
In God and devil, yeah.
So talk to her in language she's already familiar with, that there's God and there's devil, and that when we align with everything that represents God, like that is our safe, that is where we are the strongest. And anything that the devil's trying to trick us with, and the devil wants us to be scared, and the devil wants us, like, that's just the devil playing his games. So then she can come and she can say to you, Mum, that stupid devil is playing those games again. I've been thinking that I'm scared or whatever. She can even talk about it as though it's not her and her brains. Like, that devil's doing those stupid games with me again, and he's trying to tell me that I'm going to be scared, and put it in like a third person for her, and it will just help her get some distance from the belief.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much.
My absolute pleasure. All right, I need that for me, then we'll try it with the kids. Yeah, awesome, Shara. I'm glad I could help. All right, let me think. Sarah's not here. Sarah, if you watch this replay, I can't answer your question because you're not on the line, and I don't answer questions for anyone that's not on the line anymore. So jump on next week, and I will. There's just so many people, so many questions, that I prioritize the people that make the effort. I think I know you're at the Ed Sheeran concert tonight, actually. So enjoy Ed Sheeran and watch this tomorrow, and come on next week. All right, Lib and Kristen. But just quickly, before I do you guys, I'm going to go to you guys know the new people go first, and I'm going to go back to Fallon. She didn't do a question here, but she asked a good one in the group. Let me come back to you, Fallon. Can you undo your line for me? Hello, darling, by the way. How's your first week in the program been? Your first proper week?
Yeah, not too bad, It's been a busy week. I've had a bit of issue with the kid's dad, and I've just taken the kids full time, so I had to take them away from him. So it's just trying to navigate that. Like, I didn't realize that actually, like, that's what they wanted. I don't think they wanted. I didn't realize that they didn't want to be there because of but they feel obligated, and like, I've been having so much trouble with them for so long, and it just
I'm so glad you asked this question. I've worked with, so actually the Sarah that I was just talking to, in the camera too, that's not here, she is someone that comes from, she openly shares her story, and her family is a family that we had huge healings with. But she, was like addicted to drugs. I think it was like ice and everything, and got suicidal, and ended up surrendering her children, like was in huge domestic violence relationships and everything, ended up surrendering her children, basically to save her life at this point. And then she found this program when she only had her children back for something like 3 months or something, that they'd been back, and they'd been like in foster homes and whatever in the meantime. Anyway, long story short, this was the same thing, this question around, because the kids don't see their dad, and obviously, for all the right reasons, for example. Now, here's the thing. And she said, I tell them daddy loves you, daddy loves you. this is my philosophy. Now, here's what you'll learn that I say to you a lot, Fallon, and that is that you need to go with your intuition. Don't override yourself with Holly. Like, don't think that I'm always right. I'm going to share my perspectives and principles with you. And if they resonate, then obviously, you know, like apply them and use them. But it's also okay for to go, nah, that doesn't feel right to me. Okay.
Yeah.
But here is the thing on love. Okay. Particularly when the kids are feeling it. It's real. What's the most toxic is that we teach our children that is what love looks like. If you, because they see in their soul, they know that is not love. Now, like deep down, maybe he loves them, right? And maybe as a, you know, we know, all family, all fathers and all mothers love their children. Do they? Like, I mean, we just make this blanket rule that just because we gave birth, we love them. And this is not true, because love is an extension of oneself. And if a parent is not extending themselves, growing themselves, improving themselves, getting help so that they can show up and be better for the kids, that is not an act of love. I'm not saying you don't love them, but it's not an act of love, right? And the danger with trying to convince our children, like your children can better handle knowing they kind of grew up with a dad that doesn't love them, right? It's hurtful, but it's not going to damage and traumatize and control the rest of their life like it will if they believe that, you know, violence and toxicity is what love looks like. And that now becomes the blueprint for love in their lives, and they use it all the way through their lives. That hurts them more than feeling like they grew up with a dad that didn't really love them, particularly when they're feeling it anyway. So when they're feeling it, and you try to convince them, no, daddy does love you. He just doesn't know. Daddy just needs help. He just doesn't. Adele's on the line. And we had this conversation with Adele up there because, you know, her partner, you know, has problems with alcohol, or her ex-partner, I should say, the father of her daughter, has some really big struggles with alcohol and has been back in rehab and things like that. And during his episodes, 100% there was not love. You cannot call that love. And when the kids are basically saying he doesn't love me, you don't say, yeah, you're right, he doesn't, but you also don't override their intuition, because what we're doing is we're teaching them not to listen to themselves, because they will trust you because you're their hero more than they trust themselves. So their own soul, their own heart, their own nature, their own intuition is telling them, this is not love. There's nothing about this that feels like love to me. And I know, because I know what love feels like, because I've got my mum and I've got my dad, and there's a comparison here. And I know this feels like love and this doesn't feel like love. And so when we come along and we say, no, he does love you, we literally teach them, don't listen to yourself. You are wrong. Listen to me. And then the rest of their lives, they're not tuned into their intuition. You know, I mean, that's the most damaging thing, because that's their self-esteem. That's where they're going to make, I mean, their internal guidance system is the only guarantee you've got that your children make good choices in their life and they keep themselves safe and they do the right thing. So we don't want to create. So when they say dad doesn't love me or something, your response is, that must be so hard for you to feel, darling. I can see in your face that you really believe that, and I can see how much that hurts your heart. And I'm sorry that this is something that you have to experience. It's not fair. You're right. Daddy's behavior is not an act of love. You're right.
Yeah. See, for so long, you know, if I said anything about him not going over there or whatever, like they would chuck the biggest tantrum. And I get during the week, you know, routine and strict structure and stuff, and he just gets the weekend, you know. And my youngest one, he would never tell me anything. And this is partly my fault, because back, you know, a couple of years ago, if he said something to me that was, you know, wrong or whatever, I would just go bull at a gate, you know. I would attack, because that was my natural reaction. It was like, you know, thinking I was protecting, but making everything worse. And so he's done nothing but protect his dad and not tell me anything that's going on over there. And it's only last week that he come home. He basically told him to basically say this really nasty stuff to me, and I was like, whoa. And then I dropped him off like normal, and he wasn't home, and his mum, who's really, really sick, was home, and I didn't know. No one told me, no one, whatever. And at the end of the day, I said, oh, that's just, I can't. Like they're by themselves. They're a handful. And my oldest son is an intellectual disability, so the amount of danger that could have been.
Yeah.
But then that, I was always, because he's always had his anger at my youngest one, you know, and I thought it was just because I broke up with their father, and, you know, because he's seen a lot too. But it turns out, I was like, oh, because I rang children's services to be like, what's the, like, I don't know what to do anymore. You know, like, he's on his last warning. He's, you know, if I go to the police, he's going to jail. And I don't want to do that sort of stuff. And it turns out though, I was like, oh, maybe that's why he's been so angry. Like, he doesn't want to go there. He feels obligated, but I'm making him go there. And it sort of like, it was like like an epiphany. I was like, wow. And he actually, when I talked to him about it, he's like, yeah, no, let's have a break from daddy. Yep. I was like, really? You would never say that before. And I said to Chris, I was like, for him to say that about you, you've all done something really. And that, like, their brothers are fighting in front of them, and like all this just crap, this toxic crap. And I said, I can't. And he I started acting up today because he started missing his father. But I said to him, deep down, you know, buddy, you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there because it's like,
it's just his body breaking the habit. Yeah. And he might feel guilty. He might go, I don't want to be there. I don't love him. And then another day he'll be like, oh, what does my dad think? I hope my mum didn't tell him that I didn't want to come. Maybe dad feels like I don't love him now. And he might oscillate between those. And that's a normal process. Maybe in those moments, let him call him if you're comfortable with that or something. Go, hey, if you want to call daddy, you can. But but definitely don't
I did that last night, you know, like I've never been against holding them from their father. I don't believe that's my right. So, but I caved in and I let him. I asked them if they wanted to speak to him, and they did. So I did, and then the whole week that we've had, it's been just like brilliant. It's just like my youngest one, who's usually the most angry one and most you know, out of control. He's been kissing me. He's been loving on me, saying, "I love you, mum. You know, you're the best mum in the world, you know, la da da." And then as soon as I let him speak to him, and I was there the whole time, so I heard what he said, so he didn't say anything like nasty or, you know, and so he didn't say anything. But just after that, even today, like I just had the most wild day with them. They just like started acting out really. I was like, what the hell, like, you know. And then he's I think he started to want to go back over there, and I said, no, darling,
they're hurting. They want him to love them. They want to go there, but they want to be loved when they're there. When they're there and they're not loved, they don't want to be there. But they want it to be so that they can be there. But it'll be a bit of a journey. The more you get into the videos in the program, the more it'll help you. With the child that gets anger, it might even help you because it's at the end of the program, and instead of waiting until you've done everything, maybe skip forward to like the fourth pillar, the emotional well-being and trauma. There's a video in there on anger and cover emotions, and it will teach you about anger isn't a real emotion. Anger is a cover emotion for hurt and for fear. So anytime you or your child is angry, you're not really angry. You use anger to cover what you're really feeling, which is hurt and fear. And so when they're angry, you start using this kind of language with them. You go, but darling, I see you're feeling angry. And you know what? I can see your heart's hurting, and I can see you feel really afraid that you don't know when you're going to see daddy there. So start helping them link their anger, not to what they're angry about, but to where they're hurting and what they're afraid of. You know, it must be hard. I mean, I can imagine your heart is afraid that you might not see daddy, or you don't know if daddy's going to be nice or not nice, or, you know, like all of those things. And, you know, and you have every right to feel that way. Anyone in your situation would feel like that. So all of this language is all in the fourth pillar. And just given the hostile environment that you've got with their dad at the moment and these irresponsible decisions that he's making, it might help for you to fast forward and watch that and watch what resonates, and then come back to where you're up to and watch it in order, just so that, look, that pillar, once you've got all the other things in place, you'll go a lot deeper. So when you come back to it and you come around to the last pillar, watch it again, even though you've watched it, because what you'll get out of it now will be only a small percentage of what you'll get out of it off the back of the whole program, and then you watch it. So no matter what, watch it again. But at least for now, it'll give you some framework, something to say, so that you don't make them wrong for how they feel, no matter how it is they're feeling. And you can validate them so that they don't think something's wrong with them, but that you also don't override their intuition. And you also don't accidentally, you know, through trying to be a good mum that wants their children to feel loved by their dad, you know, you set them up to look for the fact that this is what love looks like. And then they look for those relationships in their life. All right.
I learned not long ago that like I always shielded him. Like I was like, you know, you know, I never really was honest with the kids, and it turns out they were like, you know, resenting me hard. So I started having to tell them the truth, like, you know, daddy's not here, you know, he didn't want to come pick you up, you know, he's drinking or whatever. And I just recently found out that apparently he's getting rolling drunk, you know, like starting fights while in, you know, and I'm just sick of it. And he said to me, Mum, I'm really angry. And I said, darling, please tell me why you're angry. I want to help you. Please just let me know what, because he doesn't want to talk about it.
Know. With anger, here's the thing, because when anger's covering trauma, they might not know. Like when you say, like, tell me what's wrong and all that, just so you know, he genuinely might not know. I don't know why. I can't tell you why, but I just know I feel it.
Well, I said to him, it's because you love him to death, but you know he's a prick.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I know, darling.
Go forward to the fourth pillar and maybe jump and watch, just so you've got some things you can say in some of these really hard situations while they're navigating. Watch that and then go back to where you're up to and keep going forwards. All right. And use the group if you need to during the week.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
No worries. Absolutely. Great question. And Sarah just left you a really good comment in the chat.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. All right, Lib, where'd you go? Here you are, lady. How's shed life?
Yeah, it's good. We're getting there.
You are?
The walls are up for the renovation, so that's exciting.
So good.
Very exciting. Yeah.
You're very summery today.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's because it's so hot in the shed because the aircon can't quite get here yet.
Oh, yeah.
I think I might move to my parents for a few days. It's too hot in here. But it's just a bit disruptive. I'm like, oh, do I fight with the kids for the next 3 nights in a row, or do I? Yeah, it's all a bit each day as it comes. So shall we say?
Well, keep rolling with the punches.
Yeah, we're rolling with it. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, you're right. I was looking. Yeah, I was just reminding myself what it was about Lenny. I like your little last part that you and Nicole were chatting about. You know, the whole teacher thing. But I do agree he needs to have a stronger boundary here. Like, and in terms of his bedtime, like 10:15, you know, is definitely too late for sure. So
it's crazy.
Yeah. So what you do is you make it just a really simple thing that, hey, you get to choose. I mean, look, I personally do, you choose your bedtime when you're 10. But before you're 10, this is the deal. And you might say, hey, you can do what you like up until, you know, like you've got up until this time to make your. So, for example, like you said that he writes things down, or he'll say, I'm going to start doing this, but then he never does it, right? So when he sets one of those intentions and you chat to him about, you know, like keeping his body healthy and his immune system and all this stuff and making the right choices for his body. And it's hard when you're into a book and you're stuck in the moment and your brain just wants to know, and like, you know, you know how to relate to him. And then you go, hey, so like, let's like, what do you think would be a healthy bedtime? If you could tell your brain, please make me tired at this time, what time would that be? What time do you know it would be good for your body to go to sleep? And if he says, you know, I'm going to make it 9 o'clock or whatever it might be, then ask him, so like, are you open to for me to help you on that? Meaning that you go to bed at 7:30 and you get to completely choose when you go to sleep. But if your brain starts getting stuck and trying to trick you to say, it's okay, stay up later, the only thing I do is the time that you said you want to go to sleep, at that time, I come in, and if you haven't already chosen to go to sleep by yourself, then I'm not coming in like just to say, bad luck, Lenny, I'm deciding it's bedtime. This is the time you decided. So I'm just helping you honor yourself, because this is in this moment, in all of it, when you're reading a book, you're not conscious. You're only aware, not of what's good for you. You're aware of what you want in that one moment, and that's normal. So right now we're having a conscious conversation. And you know, in all of your consciousness and in all of your leadership, that all good leaders need a good sleep, right? And that 7-year-olds need at least 10 or 11 hours sleep. And you wake up at 6. So really, you know, you need to really be asleep by 8. So let's say you're a bit extra special and we give you to 8:30 or something. If that's what you're saying you want to do for your body, I will support you on that. And, you know, and then I will come in at 8:30. And at that point, if you haven't already chosen to go to sleep, then I do take the book. You know, maybe you can go in and, you know, maybe read the last part of the page he's on or something, like be a bit fair about it. Like, don't just rip it out of his hands. But, you know, hey, what page you're on, when you get to the next full stop, we're stopping. Where are you up to? Cool. And you follow him to the next sentence. And that's where you're done. So that I'm supporting you. I'm not coming in with my big hard rules. It's like, I'm just supporting what you've agreed that you want for your body. And then I line there.
I mean, I get, and it's true. And it's just that I feel like I've tried that, like in not so many words. I've tried that, and almost it doesn't work. Like he just literally, for him to actually go to sleep by the time that I would like, he should be asleep by, and I don't know whether it's my story or not, but I feel like he needs to be asleep by 8. Like ideally, I'd like him asleep by 7:30. But I'm like, he should be asleep.
What time does he go to bed?
Latest 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
like so he should be asleep by 7:30. And I've got the other boys, and it's just really hard at the moment because then, you know, so it's a kind of bigger conversation. But I feel like I'm like, Lenny, you need to be in your room, up in your bed, like he's in the bunk bed, up in the bed at like 6:15.
Yeah.
So that he's got an hour and a half to wind down, and he would be more than happy with that.
The other thing I would then say is no reading in bed. So maybe make him so that his bed is associated with nothing but sleep. Maybe make him see if he's open to making a reading corner, and everyone else goes to bed and he gets to sit on the beanbag and he reads on the beanbag, and then at this time it's up in bed, go to sleep. But you don't have the book in bed. So the bed becomes representative of nothing but sleep. And when you go into that environment, there are no books.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to change an environment for him, even to help him break this cycle. Otherwise, cold fast rule. Like it's 7:30. You've got until 7:30 to read, and you probably have to step in a bit.
Yeah, it'd have to be a big boundary like that. And I mean, it's as in just, and then I'm just having to. I guess we've got in the habit of having to. Yeah, it's basically like controlled crying. It's basically like sleep training.
Yeah. It'll be 3 hard nights and you'll be fine.
And I think it's not, as I said, it's not even really about that. Like that might be an issue. It was an issue typically, like tonight, he actually went to bed okay and he didn't even read his book in bed. Like it was weird. So tonight, just because I've asked the question, I think, but it's not even that. It's like literally so many different examples. He comes up with ideas and says he's going to do things and then just never does it.
So that's all personal integrity. You need to talk about personal integrity and dishonor and self-betrayal, so that then your response to him in one of those moments, hey, Len, I feel like you're in self-betrayal at the moment. I feel like you're dishonoring yourself right now, because I remember your intentions were blah, blah, blah. And right now you're violating what I know you really want for yourself. And so you bring it all back and you can tie it into leadership and things like that. Yeah. But bring it into, hey, your integrity is on the line right now, your personal integrity, your integrity towards yourself. And talk to him about self-betrayal, dishonor, how the deepest injury the soul can suffer is self-betrayal.
Yeah.
When we sabotage ourselves.
Because you can tell he feels shit about it. He doesn't like it, and he just like, but he feels like
running on dopamine. His brain just keeps giving him dopamine for what he's doing in the moment, and it's just a chemical. It's literally you just need 10 minutes for the chemical to wash out.
Yeah.
But while his brain's running on whatever it is he's doing that he's getting, you know, a reward from or a kick out of, or he's in the middle having fun, or he's loving the story or whatever, then he's just in a dopamine cycle. That's all. It's literally just a chemical.
It's like he's got this, and it's kind of a few things going on at once. It's almost like he's got this addiction to everything that he starts, like this dopamine cycle. It's exactly what it is. Like he'll be in the middle of, like he'll say that he wants to be at Osh, he wants to be the first person at Osh in the morning, and so he will make a plan in the morning, and then he'll get distracted with one other thing, and he'll have to finish this, you know, a letter for the teacher or whatever it is, and so you literally can't drag him away. You have to pick him up and drag him away. I'm like, Lenny, look at the clock. You made this plan, and then I'm just nagging him all the time, like. He's the one that needs the most amount of work in the morning. Like the other two get themselves dressed. Like
when
they get
he was
themselves
born,
dressed and whatnot. He doesn't.
Was he late when you had him? Was he overdue?
Can't remember. No, he was pretty well, like 39 and a half weeks, yeah. And
a water birth. He was a water birth? Okay. So
but then had fluid on his lungs and had to be in hospital for a week. Yeah.
He had no force getting him out or anything though. He came out on his own. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because the kids normally don't have a timeline. They literally cannot, like, their timelines. Mine does this. My timeline, this is why I'm always late. It's all connected to like your life timelines. Most people's timelines, if you imagine the timeline of your life, most people will see the timeline like left to right. And I see it, and like kids that are late, like see it from like behind to in front. And so you basically can't see, like no matter how much I fucking try, I literally can only move and get shit done and get clarity when it's all at the last minute. And
that's me. That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
100%.
Yeah. Interesting that he was. I'm really surprised. I thought you were going to say, he was 5 days late or something. Yeah.
Was he? I can't remember. I'll have to ask Joe. I can't remember.
I can't
remember. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's too focused on things. Unless I like actually put my hand in front of his face or come and like touch him, I'll be like, Lenny. Like he's just flat. It's a terrible habit we have to break somehow, but it's just
well, in the meantime, you have to know that that's what he's like. This is how his brain's working at the moment. And unfortunately, you have to leave enough time for that process so that you're still on time. But when you're the person like me that like literally doesn't comprehend time, you look at the clock, I've still got 15. I'm like, I've still got 11 minutes. And I legit think 11 minutes is long enough, but I don't realize the fucking drive takes 13 minutes and I'm going to take 7 minutes to get out the house. Now I'm like, 8 minutes late or whatever. It's literally, and I'm even aware that I do it and I know it, and I still don't comprehend time on a timeline where I can basically be on time. And it almost stresses me out.
So what's that about? What's that about?
Early. Well, I looked into it years ago. It was fascinating. But I was 10 days late and then a 38-hour labor, and then I still didn't want to come, and I was like forceps, right? I was forceps. So I full fucking didn't want to be here. Then I got forced against my will. And so this literally is the first integration of the nervous system. So until I've got something forcing me to do it, which is the clock, because we're meant to be there and meant to be late and it's all happening now, until I've got something that's got a force with it, I literally can't comprehend the series of events that needs to take place for me to arrive there. Legit, and homework, assignments, and I do them all fucking the night before, and you've had them for the whole term. And still, and that's what I do well. I create retreats. I make all the fucking slides 2 days before and stuff like this. But under that pressure is literally how my brain works its best. I get A+, 100%, got fucking scholarships all my life, blah, blah, blah. If I'm under pressure, I work amazing. But if I'm not under pressure, I do sloppy work.
Yeah, it's because, see, I have that same theory as well. It's just that you have to, I don't like doing things early, because if you do it early, it doesn't allow enough time. Something better might come along, or there might be a better idea or a better plan.
It's just a waste of time. So that's when you're going to get it done in the end anyway. Why would I waste a week when I can do it in a day?
But yeah, it's just, then people just always just say, it's the ongoing argument with my family is that Libby's always late, and I got the nickname at uni as last minute Libby, and I'd always do that. And I still can't change, change it. And I wondered if you was just
it's the first
Lenny's addicted
to the nervous system.
Is addicted to dopamine, and it's true. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
So, but how that helps me right now, I don't really know.
No, it was frustrating.
Yeah,
but I think he loves lessons on leadership, and he loves, stepping into his leadership. So talk about personal integrity, dishonor, self-honor, and self-betrayal, and embed them into as many areas of life, whether it's regarding him or anyone else that you can, or even yourself. Hey, look, I'm really feeling like I've really betrayed myself today, because I promised myself I was going to do this, and do you know what? I haven't done it, and I really don't have a good enough excuse for why I didn't do it. So see if he'll be your coach on it. See if he'll allow you to use coach each other. And when I come in to take the book off you and say no more, what I'm asking from you, don't see me as the bad mum that wants to take your book away. This is me supporting you and what you want to do. And, you can help me tomorrow morning when I say, come on, guys, we're going to get in the car in 10 minutes. Maybe if you could do me a favor and tell me normally I look at the clock at 8:10 and I start telling everyone to move. Do me a favor, remind me at 8:00 that I should start doing that. So give him somewhere where he can give you coaching, so then he's more open to taking it, to receiving it from you. But I definitely would be working on that bedtime. I agree with you. And I get that he loves it and it's reading and it helps him and it grows and it is a catch-22, but he's 7 and he definitely should be asleep by 8:00. I agree with you.
Yeah, and when he does, he's great. He just can't. And I think now it's got to the point where I've been so focused on, and because he's so happy up there, I just deal with the other two.
Yeah.
But now he needs to be the priority. It's like we have to nag him to do A, B, C, and D, get him up there. So he's like hour and a half of cave time up there.
Yeah. I don't know if it's an option for you, but if you can if there's another place he can read, he can go choose his book, and he doesn't read it in bed, try it. Maybe because if he's like out on the couch, or if he's, you know, in a beanbag, even if it's in his own room, and, you know, and if Lockie's like, why can't I? You say, when you're 7, you can. You know, when Lenny was 5, he couldn't. When in our family, when people are 7, they get to choose this. When people are 10, they get to choose this. So when you're 7, you'll get this, right? So if you've got him in another place, the thing is, you're not really coming and just telling him to stop what he's doing. You're changing his location. You're like, all right, Glenn, come on, mate, it's time for bed now. Put the book down. I'll walk you to bed, or I'll carry you to bed, or whatever you need to do to just get that. Like, and it just shifts him from one environment to another environment. And then he has it'll be a bit of a period to break the habit of being up in bed reading. So because he loves it and he's fine. And obviously you don't want to ruin your night if he's up there and he's happy. So maybe it has to be in his bedroom. I don't know. But even if it's like,
I'll suss something out. Pardon? What was that?
Does he lay down and read, or does he sit up and read, or what?
No, he lays down.
So even that, don't let him sit down. Maybe get him like a big reading cushion that goes behind his back or something, that only for reading, if he's going to do it in his bed. And then the deal is that cushion gets taken when it's time to stop reading.
Yeah.
So
I'll suss something out. Yeah, I think I'll keep him out in the lounge room. That can be a special time. And Lockie can go to bed, hopefully, and doesn't.
Yeah, maybe keep him out while you put the other kids to bed, and once they've gone to bed, then he can go to his room. Yeah, something like that. There's got to be an interrupt for his brain so that the dopamine can just settle down.
Yeah, because if he sees the book or does it, then he latches onto it, and then he can't.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And his brain will associate going to bed, laying down on my pillow, sleep. You know, it's like people who work in their bedroom, you know. It's like you should only use the bedroom for sleep and for sex, really, because otherwise people that struggle to go to sleep, like literally they sit up in bed at night doing book work and stuff like this, and they always struggle to sleep because their brain associates the room with brain activity and with, you know, like working.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he's tired enough, I just have to like push him up on the bunk bed.
Yeah.
So that'll be all right.
I don't know, try a few things, but yeah, we definitely got to get his brain out of that space for sure.
Okay, cool. Yep. Thanks, Ollie.
My pleasure. Good to chat. All right, Miss Christine, are you still here? Where are you?
I'm here.
Hey, I'm going to be the first person to say happy birthday to you for tomorrow. She's going to be 40 tomorrow.
Woo! I'm doing paperwork on my spare room floor.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm just going to quickly check. Oh, thanks, Fallon. That's lovely what you said. I do like to be a little bit straight up. Like you say, other programs are fluffy. I'll use that on my website. Other programs are fluffy. Holly, straight up. Thank you. I'm late everywhere. They say you're going to be late to your own funeral. Literally, those of you who are late, those of you who need to be early, I bet you had early births. Like you came early, or they had to get you out early, or whatever. Anyway, go and look into that. It's so go and Google it and look at some stuff. It's amazing. Yeah, exactly, Shara. I get very anxious if I do it. I have to do a million. It's a waste of time. You have to do it right. Yeah, I get it. Exactly, Sarah. I know some people can't operate like us. My partners are always like, how the fuck do you do what you do? And they get pissed off at me for leaving it too late, because then at the last minute I am being a bit stroppy and a bit short and a bit like, just fucking leave me. Just let me do this. I got like, well, you should have done it a week ago, you know? Anyway, but that's unfortunately how my brain operates. So Bonnie, okay, let's talk about her. Down after one. Oh, that's good that you got her down, but yep, she's falling asleep. She's up at 6 a.m. And I totally agree with you, Kristen. You're so right. I love that you're saying that. It's about her body, because we all know like broken sleep is not good for the immune system, right?
No, and like I can just see like she is, you know, she's back at childcare again, and like she's getting, you know, like the runny nose and all that again. But just on top of that, like only getting 8 hours sleep.
8 hours?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, she's an actual unit. She just does not stop.
Yeah.
And you know, she can't, like, the only thing that I sort of like keep wanting to do, and I tried it for a while, was giving her melatonin. It's just like she can't just like end it for the day. She wants to, like, her eyes are rolling in her head, but she's got FOMO. She's basically me in.
Do you have a pretty like solid wind down schedule?
Yeah, I'm like a Nazi.
Yeah,
like
good.
It's one thing that I've had to maintain, because otherwise I feel like I can't cope. So I'm very strict with bedtime, and I have found, obviously, probably before the last few months, that I have probably been a little bit too strict, like not like wavering,
like army boot camp style,
like army boot camp style. But with her, she has always pushed. She has always not wanted to go to bed. And I think since she's been able to get out of her bedroom, so I moved her into a big bed when she was like 20 months old because of my back.
Yep.
So yeah, she's been in it for a solid, 7 months. It's the more the novelty that I can get out of my room. If I shut the door, which I have done and I will use as like a last resort, she gets absolutely hysterical. And not like a normal hysterical.
No, like you probably literally traumatized her in that moment. I get it.
Yeah, like she is.
Yeah, like she's legit.
You have shut the door on me. Like, how could you do that to me? Like, it's literally like like she's wounded.
Absolutely.
So
I'm just here's the shit thing, right? Like, the answer to this is easy. The shit thing about it is that you don't have a partner to help you with this.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, there's been lots of single mums that have done it that don't have partners to help them, but it is fucking harder because you can't tag team each other when you're like, I'm going to fucking throw this kid through the window, right?
Yeah.
And it typically takes 3 nights, and you have to make a decision up front that like it's cool. I've already made a decision in advance. I'm just not going to sleep for 3 nights. Like, that's just going to be how it is. I accept it. Not fun, but if 3 nights, I'm not sleeping anyway. She's getting up 12 times a night. Like, so if not sleeping for 3 nights or getting less sleep for 3 nights means that I get a lifetime of sleep, and so does she, and it's better for her body and her immune system, then I'll do it. Because what you want to do, is, have you ever watched the video on like how to get your kids to go to bed and stay in bed when the white jumper? Oh fuck, that's all your answers. That's all you need. That's everything. Like, it's in any of my parenting groups, but go to the program one, type in like go to bed, or get your kid to go to bed. It comes up. I've got like white blonde, actually got hair like I do now, but it's like 7 years ago, and I've got like a white knitted jumper on. I'm doing the video in my car. Like, it's got thousands of views. It's like, literally, I still to this day, actually, I tell one, like, I used to say, I have never ever had any kid with any problem, even kids that have been through surgeries and whatever, that did this, that didn't sleep after 3 nights. And I always used to say, and if you're the first person that doesn't happen in 3 nights, then you make a liar out of me. But then we did have someone in the program that happened, but it happened after 5 nights. But that was with Christy. But then when it happened to her, and Georgia started going to sleep. Georgia was 2, and they had a little daughter at the time, Izzy, who's 4 months old. And it's literally in the program where she was breastfeeding Izzy, and Georgia, who normally struggled so bad to go to sleep that the only way to get her to sleep was to put her in the fucking car and drive around the block to get her to sleep, and then try to carry her in without waking her. That was their best way of getting her to sleep. And after these 5 days of doing what I told her, she was breastfeeding Izzy, and Georgia went and put herself, there's a photo of it in the group, in her own little 2-year-old bed and put herself to sleep. And when she finished feeding the baby, she was in the bed asleep in the middle of the day. It took 5 days, but that's how epic it was in the end. Okay,
I'll definitely watch that. That's awesome. Thank you.
It is the best. And it's not about control crying. When you choose to go into the room, you basically have to stay there. You don't go in and go out and go in and go out and go in and go out. Like, that literally causes them trauma, because they're like, are you here or aren't you? Like, if what you do is consistent,
I just don't want the trust thing, because I feel like she's already doesn't trust me.
Exactly. And so if she gets up through the night, this is what's fucked, as you're so tired and you're like, fuck it, just get in my bed and just freaking go to sleep. But
that's a problem. Yeah, I've been doing
you
that.
have to, for 3 nights, babe. Promise you, one person in forever. Like that video was done, might even be 8 years, like long before I had the parenting group or anything. Like it was right in the beginning. Like if she wakes up and then she keeps getting out of her bed, what you do is you literally sit down. I don't care if you play on your phone or whatever, you sit down at her bedroom door. Like you don't, and then if she gets out, there's the hard part is, especially when you're doing it by yourself, you need to keep your energy very neutral, not angry, not happy, no eye contact. She gets nothing from you, nothing, no love, no like.
That's
no
the bit I struggle with, the love thing.
You're going back. You're going back. That is all. No eye contact, no words, no speaking, but you're there and the door is open, so there's no trauma. She knows she is safe. She knows she is loved. She can see you. She can feel you. She is not experiencing trauma. All she's doing is protesting. And if she had a big vocabulary, if she was 5 years old, she'd be saying, I hate you. I don't want to go to bed. I'm not tired. And you'd be like, fucking shut up and go to sleep. Because when they've got words, we're like, bad luck. You've got school tomorrow. End of story. Deal with it. Go to sleep, right? But because they're babies and they don't have the vocabulary, all they've got is they're crying, basically.
Yeah.
If you translate her crying, and I teach you in that video how to know the difference of when she actually does need you and when she's just protesting. There's a difference in the pitch of her cry, and you'll notice it straight away. It works. You literally, Jess Kernier, you know, the girl from the UK that came to the retreat with you, she did this just recently. You can even go look at the video from her. She was like, Holly, you've like saved my life. Like in 2 nights, boom, he's now sleeping 12 hours. He's asleep by 7. And before she couldn't get him to sleep till like 11. And he was waking 10 times a night, and it didn't even take her 3 nights. Took like, she's like, the 3rd night was perfect. But the 2nd night was like 10 minutes or 12 minutes or something. So she's like,
oh my God, that'd be so good. Because, you know, I guess that the reason I did ask the question tonight was because Alaska then misses out because I can only do one at a time. So it's like I allocate that time to Bonnie. So I give her 15 minutes to say goodnight, and it's never 15 minutes. So I often find myself going into Alaska, reading a book while Bonnie's crying. And I rush the book with Alaska, and I just feel like it's not nice for anybody. Like the whole bedtime routine sucks, and like no one's having a good time. You might need to change up for a little while. Talk to Alaska and say, "Hey, Mummy needs your help. You know what? I want to start having more time with you at night." And Bonnie is really struggling. She's only 2 and she needs to learn how to go to sleep. So do you know what we're going to do? Is that instead of you having to wait or, you know, whatever, Mummy's going to put you to bed first. I'm going to let Bonnie stay up a little bit. She'll think because I'm going to do some training with her. You can tell her, you know, Holly helped me or whatever. And I'm going to train Bonnie. So, but I'm not ever going to let Bonnie take time away from you anymore. So I'm going to have time with you first, and Bonnie can play and Bonnie can get out the way or whatever. And then I'm going to do Bonnie so that she doesn't take my time away from you, because you're important too. Good. So let her know, and I need your help. Can you help me with this? Can you be my coach even when I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be angry at Bonnie? Say, Mum, stay calm, Mum. You're just teaching her. Like, give her some things she can say. She feels like she's part of it, you know. And then that way, put her to bed. She's dealt with. She's not gonna cry. Then you're dealing with Bonnie. Awesome. That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. Alaska will be all up for that. She's a total helper.
Yeah, so that's her, Sarah. That's Jess. UK. There's a Zoom call about this a month or 2 ago with the UK lady. Yeah, Jess, that's her. It might help. Holly took. If you go type in like bedtime or, you know, sleep or whatever, it'll come up. But this one with the white jumper, I'll go find it now, and I'll tag you.
Amanda might have just tagged me in it. Thanks, Amanda.
Who did? Amanda did?
Amanda did.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Yeah. Watch that first. It goes for like 20 minutes or something like that, or half an hour. But it's got every little step of the whole process in it.
Amazing. Thank you.
Good to be back. The only thing that doesn't work in that, I swear, is you. So it works. You just have to have the mindset. It's going to be 3 nights. The first night, you're going to be fucked. It's going to be like 3 hours. When I did it with Amani the first time, I put her back in her bed. I stayed in there 87 times. No lie, 87. We fucking counted it. 87 times. And it took like, just under 4 hours or something. Like we were putting her to bed at 7. It was like 11 o'clock. Okay. But literally the next day it's like 20 minutes. The next day it's like 3 minutes. And the next day there's nothing.
Okay. I'm ready.
But the first night it's like every demon is let out of hell.
Okay. Because I feel like every night is like that at the moment.
Exactly. And you got to keep that perspective so that your energy, the whole thing is you cannot get pissed off. There you go. No. Libby's saying the same, staying neutral. You cannot get pissed off. This is where I say to people, if you do have a partner, when you feel like, oh, I'm going to lose it, then you go tag. It's better for the child to have one parent do it anyway. But if you're going to lose it, you go tag team your partner and then you're like, hey, you're in, because otherwise I'm going to freaking throw them through the window. But
something in between.
The deal is what the deal is for you. And Adele's done it with Piper and she was a single mum. So, she's had to go through it.
Okay.
It works. Yep. All right. Well, good night, everybody. That was a big call, but it was great. So thank you for being here and I will see you back on next week, yeah?
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.